Yeah.
And so there was a whole controversy in England when they passed civil marriage uh, because they needed the there was it was quite complicated
Hmm.
actually, and they you know, I mean, the Queen is head of state
Yeah.
and the church, and then there's the Archbishop of Canterbury and the whole bit. But yeah, churches can do what they want, and they can make you convert to their religion even,
Yeah.
and you know, they can arrange marriages too. You know,
Yeah. I know. There are sometimes that I sit here and go, something. I really wish that arranged marriages were still a thing, but then I'm like, no, I really don't. So you're supposed to laugh, Jimmy. That was
I'm laughing.
a joke. Okay.
Well, I'm 43 and single, so I don't know. I might have benefited from an arrangement as long as it was a gay one.
My opinion of marriage, and maybe it's the history major in me, maybe it's just the archaic person in me from time to time, which is honestly, I'm not. I think it's a church thing, and I don't think that the state needs to be involved at all.
Yep. Well, it's like I said. I mean, that's the system we have, though. And frankly, I mean, I've always said I'm a social conservative myself. I think that marriage is a good thing, and we should encourage, protect, and promote it because people do better when they're married. They live longer. They prosper economically when they have a partner to go through life with, and we should want people to settle down, be monogamous, and be happy. And that includes gay people, in my opinion. That's one thing that I am coming to uh, realize about the look. The majority of Americans support same-sex marriage, by the way, and it's coming to the point where the only people who don't support it really just don't like gay people. They don't want to acknowledge gay people exist, and that is the case in a lot of people, and not everybody. I've never said that, and I've always said that just because you oppose same-sex marriage doesn't automatically make you an anti-gay homophobe. I don't think that's the case because I think everyone is coming to this thinking about this issue differently now. But the more and more the shrillness of the anti-gay forces on this issue really just demonstrate to me that many of them just don't like gay people, and they're never going to change their mind on that issue. And and that's another problem for Republican Party. You know, heck, America just elected a pro-gay marriage president. You know, if you're in the business to win elections, then you need to make sure that most Americans agree with you. And I have long time said that opposition to gay marriage is not a principle, it's a policy position. I think that the Republican Party and conservatives can be principled and have conservative values like I do, and know that it's my conservative values that bring me to want gay people to settle down and be married, and that's my position on that issue. And but we share the same principle of traditional values, and I hope that more and more conservatives see that, and they are more and more. I just think that the um, anti-gay folks are doing so much damage that it's almost too late. I mean, America moved on this issue already. We've reached the tipping point. We're past the tipping point, and we know the outcome. I mean, I truly think that the outcome of gay marriage is going to be that we're going to have it everywhere in this country. And looking at the calendar and the map, it's likely to happen with a Supreme Court decision within 2 to 2.5 years, which will put it right in the middle of the next presidential election. And I'll bet you that Republicans don't handle it very well. That's my prediction.
Well, I would rather and again, this is the extreme libertarian in me who, is to the point of going and finding some nice ranch land in South Central Texas and,
yep.
Just going, leave me alone.
See, are you into seasteading?
I'm sorry?
Are you into seasteading? That whole movement of building floating platforms in international waters to live lawless?
That something that the idea of an island is not a bad idea.
I think I know what you're going to say, though, and I on any issue we don't always get to pick the process.
Yeah,
I don't. My choice is not to have the Supreme Court legalize gay marriage across the country, but that's the reality, and honestly, since we've reached the tipping point in public opinion, I think it's better for everyone to get it over with. So, anyway, if you were going to say that, that's my answer. But if not, I'll answer the question you were going to ask.
Well, I wanted to kind of switch from because I actually did say that we would talk NSA.
Oh yeah,
and and you said that you would love to talk NSA. And this is Saturday Night Cigar Lounge here on Vigilant Liberty Radio. I am your host, Taylor. Jimmy LaSalvia is here as well. And Jimmy, thank you very much for taking time out of your Saturday. But what did you think of the announcement about the announcement by President Obama talking about the reforms that he wanted to do in the NSA and kind of the reaction from that?
Well, first let me go back to when we started to learn more and more about what the NSA was doing. I'm like probably most Americans. I always kind of knew that the government knew what was going on the internet and on cell phones, but I was shocked to learn the scope of the surveillance. I was, frankly, scared to death to realize what was going on. And, so I am of the mind that, one, the government should take steps to keep us safe, but also, there is some risks associated with living in a free society. And we all assume some risks, be it from terrorists or from, any other risks that we might encounter in order to have our freedom. And so I don't feel like there's been a good balance of protection versus freedom. And frankly, I didn't hear hardly anything that made me think that the president was actually doing anything to address it. I think it was an empty statement, and I'm still trying to figure out what that means. So what are you doing? Like most everything, he talks a good game, but then I can't get down to the substance of it. I'm having a hard time with that.
Yeah, and of course, I would be remiss if I didn't say, hi, NSA, I'm waving at you with two fingers right now. You can guess which ones.
I have a friend who called me when the Snowden stuff leaked and said, so are they watching my webcam too? I won't tell you what is probably going on that website.
Yeah. Peter King made a comment to Jake Tapper yesterday, where he said, "I entirely disagree with Glenn Greenwald, and I really have no respect for him or his accomplice, Edward Snowden. The key takeaway from the president speaks today is that basically the NSA program is going to remain intact. He added that he did not even think any changes or reforms were called for, and seemed pleased that the ones the president did propose were really minimal.
Well, he's right that they were minimal, and like I said, I can't figure out what they are. And the truth is, they go too far. And I don't know what the balance is. I'm not an expert in what is possible. The reality is they can know whatever they want to know, and which to me makes it even all the more puzzling why we have any terrorist attacks anyway. But if they know everything, then they should be able to stop everything.
And there's no evidence that they have.
No, there's no evidence that they have. We still have consulates attacked. We still have marathons bombed. And, so let's all assume some risk in our day-to-day life so that we can preserve our freedom. But let's also give them the power to provide some sort of protection, although I don't think it has to be a total blanket over our freedom.
Yeah, and I will actually just say this. NHL refs, you suck for not letting Ryan Garbett and Mitchell, the player from the Minnesota Wild, fight. I mean, yes, he was in a headlock, but he got free and he started punching. Come on. That's my last hockey comment on the show tonight, which I'm sure everybody's going to be thrilled for.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Jimmy LaSalvia, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Where can we find you online?
Well, I'm at jimmylasalvia.com is my website, and my Twitter handle is Jimmy LaSalvia. And follow me, I'll follow you back, and let's share some ideas, and let's work together to bring everybody together and make our country better without the two dysfunctional parties. We can do it.
Do you think that, and we are running out of time, but I do want to ask a quick solution for the Republican Party. What is the solution? Is it just throwing out the people who need to be thrown out?
Well, I don't know if it's possible, and I thought if it was, I would have stayed. But I said earlier today, I haven't ever contemplated the possibility that the second coming of Jesus Christ would be as a Republican politician, but I think that's what it would take to win the presidency again. So I don't know. I give up.
Yeah. I know a lot of people who feel that way, and I have to admit I'm getting to be one of those. So this is Saturday Night Cigar Lounge here on Vigilant Liberty Radio. I'm your host Taylor. Jimmy LaSalvia is my guest and has been my guest. And Jimmy, thank you very much for being on. Coming up. Go ahead. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
I was just going to say I really appreciate it. Thank you. And I am glad to be in Texas, at least for tonight, via internet with you. I went to junior high in Fort Worth, so I'm glad to be back there for a little bit tonight.
Oh, very cool. Which junior high?
I went to a school called Monig Middle School, and it was over off of Camp Bowie Boulevard,
Gotcha.
I think. Yeah.
I went to First Baptist Academy in downtown Dallas, so you can imagine where I met most of my social conservative friends.
Right.
Thank you again, Jimmy. Really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
Tomorrow, I believe we are going to be having Next with Jonathan Sangster, still trying to get the his schedule all figured out. I do believe we are running a best of I want to call it the Alan Bordius show, but